Good morning, everybody. This morning I am highlighting the Hues of Happiness. It's a suite in our new annual catalog, and it's one of my favorites. The first thing that I ordered, actually, because I love the covers of our Stamping Up catalog, and the card that was on the front, I had to make it. So I did do a video on this one, so I'm going to show you real quick the card itself that I made in case you missed that video and you want to go back and watch it. This is the card, and I had to make it and these are the pieces that I show you how to put together in my other video. So just go to my YouTube channel and take a look at that. But the Hues of Happiness, I love the DSP that's in there. So these are the colors that are in the DSP. And then these on the back, these are the cutouts that you can cut out of the designer series paper with our dies. And these are the dies that come with the set. And then here are the sentiments. And I just wanted to put some of our new in colors behind this so you could see it a little bit better. And then this, which is so pretty, is the new glimmer paper that's in our designer series paper, or not designer series paper, but our in colors. So these are the in colors, and then this is one of the in colors, which, you know, pink is my favorite. So I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to show you a few of the cards that I made. So I made this one, and most of these cards are highlighting the designer series paper. And you can make such an easy card with a designer series paper. You don't have to add that much to it. But I love these new glossy dots. They are just beautiful, aren't they? Let me show you how to make this one. It's just so quick. So what I did is I cut, you know, the card base at 4.5 by 5.5. And then I scored it. So it's 4.25 by 8.5, and then you score it at 4.25. And then I cut, you know, the designer series, or the in color. I just can't think this morning, sorry. So I cut one of the in colors and just pop it on the top, and that's the fresh freesia. And then here's the designer series paper. I cut it at 5.5 and 3 3/4. So you get a little bit of the reveal. You can cut it even smaller if you want to. So then I just took a piece of the designer series paper that matches. I just pop that on here like this. And then whatever sentiment you want, but I need a lot of thank you cards for orders that people have placed. And these, I'm going to put them all together and send them out. So if you placed an order, one of these cards will be coming your way. And then this ribbon, you know, if you ever look through the catalog and you miss things like I do, and then somebody else points it out and you're like, wow, I have that ribbon, but I never used it before. This is called frayed ribbon, and it really does fray. And you know how much I like to play with the fraying on the ribbon. So you can fray the ends as much as you want. Isn't that pretty? It gives it such a cute look, like frayed jeans or an old sweatshirt that gets frayed, which I like. They're just the comfiest things, aren't they? But this ribbon is just beautiful, and it is so soft. So you can just fray that a little bit. And if it kind of stops on you, just go ahead and give it a quick cut, and then you can fray it as much as you want. I think that's enough. I could go crazy with the fraying on these things. It's like addictive. So what you want to do is you want to leave some of your reveal on your designer series paper, and then I use glue dots to attach my sentiment to the ribbon. It helps it stay better, and you don't have to wait for the glue to dry. So isn't that pretty? So if you've placed an order, I'll be sending you one of these cards. This is the first sample. And I got all of these samples out of the annual catalog. Stampin' Up! Does a really good job of highlighting the cards, and then you can just go back in and copy that. So if you need a quick card. So the next one I want to show you, this one is really cute. I love the Designer Series paper, and this allows you to show off the Designer Series paper. Isn't this cute? So you cut these out with your dies out of the Designer Series paper, and then just pop a little note on it, you know, a little note of thanks. I'm telling you, I gotta get my thank you cards made. So this one is really easy, and I'm going to show you. Oh, that one, I'll have to hide that little boo-boo with something. But sometimes that happens, you know, your stamps get away from you and they make a little mess, but you know, you can always cover it up or just stamp something else over that. But I'm going to show you how I made this reveal. So this is from the stamp set called Color and Contour, and this is a beautiful set. I love these. But this is the die that I used, and it's a scallop with the dots on it, which I love dots. And then the dies in here, they also have the stitched, and anything stitched I love. So this is a really nice set. So I like 3x6 cards. They're just a little bit different. And what I do is I just cut a card base, and you cut it 6x6, and you score it at 3. So what you want to do, I'm going to bring my Big Shot, not my Big Shot now. It's called the Cut and Emboss machine now. And I did want to tell you, we have the new magnetic plates now. I haven't tried mine out yet. As soon as I try it out, I'll let you know what I think, but it is super heavy. The other one warped, so they had to go back to the drawing board and try it again. So that's a good thing that we've got a magnetic plate now, and I'll do a video on that later. So let's put this on here. Okay, we need the plate. So we'll need one, 2, and 2 of the 3 plate. So let's put that one on there, and then you just put your piece of cardstock in there. I'm hoping I'm still in the frame. And then you just decide where you want it to cut. How much do you want to reveal? So let's do it this way, so that way I can position the die where I want it to be. And if you need to, just take a little piece of painter's tape until you get your magnetic plate. I wish I would have got my magnetic plate out to play with it, but I'll do it another day, and then you can see. But you want to make sure that your die comes right to the edge where you've scored it, so then you can go back in and cut that, put that piece away. Just make sure your die doesn't move on you. Might have to put another little piece of tape on here just to hold it. There we go. And then just run it through. And this thing just cuts so easy. And I should have took some of the sticky off of this tape, so because it wants to peel my paper. So what you want to do is you want to just cut this on the score line. You can do it with your paper trimmer, or you can just cut it with your scissors. Pretty. So then you just fold it, move this out of the way. finish showing you this. Oh. Okay, so, oops. Out of the way. Okay, so what you want to do is just fold that. I'm going to use this one. And all you do is you just put your designer series paper inside, glue it down, and then just decide where you want your flowers to be. And I just took a strip of the blue and you just wrap it around like this. So it's like a belly band. It's like a belt for your cards. So then you just trim it. And then you can stamp right on this little piece. And if you mess up and have to put another piece over it, you have some extras there. And then you just decide where you want your flowers to be. So I did glue these down with glue, and then I put a dimensional right here for the belly band so it can slide over top of your top flower. So you'll just arrange these however you like them. I just love these cutouts. Aren't they so cute? Just like this. You can always put one on there too. That would be cute. Right like that. And then put another one up here. So that's all you do. Isn't that pretty? It doesn't stand up like a regular card, but I think it's so pretty to have that reveal. And you could even stamp something down here on the bottom if you wanted. And then you could add some of these glossy dots on there, and that would be really pretty. So that one, I'll have to make that one after a while because, like I said, I have some thank you cards going out. And if you do place an order, I'll be sending you your card. So the last card that I made, which I think is so pretty, and I do want to show you something real quick. So with this die, you know I love hearts, so you see all the little hearts in here and all these little pieces that pop out. What you want to do is you want to keep them, and then if you want to make a shaker card, you have all these little pieces of confetti already ready to go. You know, if you don't have any sequins and you want to make a shaker card, keep these little bits because they're just so pretty. So I'm going to show you this card. All it is just layering. You let the designer series paper do the work for you. So it's just, you know, cut it. I cut my card down a little bit. I cut it at 4 by 5.5. And then that way you get more of your designer series paper to use because, you know, if you cut it at 4 1/4, then it's going to short you on the last piece and you can get 6 pieces. So you just layer that. And then all of these, I just use the blends, and it's the Melon Mambo blends. And I'm going to show you a neat trick that I usually do when I have a bunch of these to stamp. Because sometimes they're a little fiddly if you stamp them and then cut them out. So I'm going to show you a quick trick that makes it easier to cut these out and then stamp them instead of just having to eyeball them. Of course, I'm going to use the Stamparatus. I'll show you how I did that. You just layer these however you like on there, and then I did take a piece of the twine, and what you do, you color your twine with your blends. So I know that I've showed you this before, but I'm going to show you again just in case you might have missed it. So what you want to do is you want to take your twine And then just take your Melon Mambo. This is the dark one. You can do the dark one or the light one. And I do use the blending end. And you just, and if you leave a little white in it, that's even better because it gives you that variegated look. So you just do that and then pull it apart. And isn't that pretty? I mean, it gives you that really pretty ombre effect, and it goes really nice with this card. So let me show you what I mean about my blanks. I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus. I love the Stamparatus. It's the best thing ever. So I have these flowers that I want to cut out, stamp, cut out, and then color with my blends. So sometimes it's hard when you're making a bunch of them to cut them out. You know, you stamp them, you cut them out, and then, you know, it's a whole big production. So this makes it a little bit easier. And you know I'm all about making things easier when you're stamping. So what you want to do is I take the piece of cardstock that's in with your designer series paper. It's thicker than regular cardstock. And then you cut out a bunch of blanks. And what I mean by blanks are you just take the die and you cut these out. And I almost always use shimmer paper when I'm going to be coloring on my cardstock. So what you want to do is you want to take your stamps and you want to fit them in this negative space. And then take your time and get them where they're supposed to be. That's my biggest issue. I'm always hurrying, and if you take your time, then you can stamp a bunch of these. This one I think is the hardest one to get lined up, and I'm not sure why. Let's see here. All right. And then you just fit this one in here, and then you just take your plate and these acrylic ones, they do like to stick a little bit because they are super sticky. So what you want to do is you want to put a stamp case underneath so you can then ink up your stamps. So what you want to do is you want to try these out first and see if they're actually in there the correct way. You could actually stamp on this and see how close you are, and then you can adjust it if they're not where you want them to be. So ink these up. See how we did. If we need to adjust these, we can adjust them. That one's really nice. That one's nice. It gives you a little bit of reveal, but we could actually make it a little better so that the reveal is more where it's supposed to be. So always keep something to clean your stamps off with so you don't make a mess. I tend to be a messy stamper and end up wearing most of the ink when I'm stamping. So this one looks good. That one looks really good. We could adjust these two just a tiny bit. So let's do a different color so we can see if they got to where they need to be. That looks pretty good. All right, so clean these. And then let me show you what I mean by the blanks. The blanks, again, are what you just cut out with your dies, and you just pop them back in the spot that they go in, like that. This right here. Oops. Okay, and my last one. It's hiding from me. All right. Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it for looking at it. Okay, so we just pop these back in here. Make sure they're in there the right way. And then just ink up your stamps again. And I don't like these to be super dark. You know, when you're coloring them with your blends, you want to see the outline, but you don't want it to just pop out there and glare at you. So just ink them up just a tiny bit, just enough so you get enough on there so you can see them to stamp. And they do like to stick to the stamps. So you just take your pick tool, and if you want to stamp them again, if they didn't get dark enough for you, just pop them right back in. That one looks good. I like the color on this one. We're going to take that one out. That one turned out beautiful. So these ones, they need a little bit more ink. I was trying to be, I didn't want to be too overly generous with them. I didn't want them to be so dark, but I also don't want them to be light. And that's another thing about the Stamparatus. It gives you second chances, third chances, as many chances as you need to make sure that you stamp that the way that you want it. That one still doesn't want stamped. I think it's this guy right here. I think it's in the way. So we're going to pop these off. That one turned out nice. That one turned out nice. This guy wants to be hard to do, but like I said, it gives you so many chances to stamp your flower exactly how you want it. And then just use your pick tool, pick that out. And I think I would probably adjust that just a little bit more, but you know, I can live with that. Then you can just pop these blanks in. You can use different colors, you know, pop this one in there like that. Oops. Pop this one in there. Just like that. And here's the leaves and that new parakeet party. Oh, I thought I did them all in color, but this one is contrary. I thought I did that in a different color, but we're just gonna do it like that. And then you can just ink up your stamps again. And you can get a bunch stamped really, really quickly this way. You know, just take the time to pop out all of your blanks, and then you're set. You can just stamp and go and stamp and go, and then you're ready. Oops, that one got a little crazy on the edge, but you know, isn't that pretty? You just pop these out. That one out. And then this one, I'm going to redo that one later. But you get the idea. I think you can do this with all of your stamps. If you're making a bunch of cards, this just makes it so much easier to get them lined up. Give it a try. Give it a try and let me know what stamp set you used. And, you know, if you don't have a Stamparatus and you want one, let me know. I love my Stamparatus. My customer Edie, she loves hers. She's always telling me how much she loves it, and it was the best purchase she ever made. So I do want to show you, don't you love this grid paper? This is the new grid paper, the Abigail Rose, and you can get this. I use it because I like to line up my stamps if I think they're, you know, I want to know if they're straight. You can use your grid paper. You can, you know, it just protects your table, and it's nice to stamp on. So let's put these to the side. I'm going to show you real quick. Someone said that they don't like coloring because it's so hard. With the blends, that is one of the best things about the blends. You can just, you don't have to be an expert person that can color. I am not very good at it, but with the Stampin' Blends, it helps you, it makes you look like you actually know what you're doing. So what I do is I like to take the brush tip, because it seems to lay on darker. You know, if you need to get in there and really know where you're going to be putting your ink, just use the other end, the fine tip. But I like that end because it's quicker, you know. That's my motto. And then you just come back in with your lighter, because you get a light and a dark, and then you just blend out the lines so that it doesn't look so harsh. Then you can layer on more ink if you want. Come back in, you know, add some more color because you like it to be darker in the center. And on the lines, if you want to add, you can just do that. But it just makes it so much nicer. And, you know, these are wonderful. So you get 2 of them for $9. And then if you want to lighten up, if you've gotten it too dark and you want it to be lighter, just take your color lifter. And you can just come back in. Like if you want to lighten up the ends, like it's fading out, you can come back in and take some of the color off of the edges. And it'll take a second before you start seeing it take effect. And then you can just push the color back to the center. Push it off the ends and back into the center. So if you get some blends, get the color lifter. And then I did these with the Melon Mambo. And what you do is you want to come in with your darker color and put it in the center or wherever you want the highlights to be. And you don't have to be fussy about it. Just, you know, follow the lines and just play and have a good time. That's what I like. You can be Bob Ross. So then you just come back in. Isn't this color beautiful? Melon Mambo has always been one of my favorites. It just goes so nicely with like blues and the greens, the old olive. It goes so well with old olive. Like I said, you don't have to be fussy with these blends because they just make it look beautiful. So just come back in, you know, add some more of the darker color wherever you want it to be. I like the center. And you can come in with your color lifter if you want to. You can push the color back towards the center. You can move it around if you need to. Neat. So then with the leaves, I love old olive. It's always been one of my favorites. So with the leaves, you have to be careful. This end on mine. Got a little frayed from classes, but you know, just take your time. Put in your highlights, and it just makes such a difference. So all of it's beautiful. So then you come in with your light, and you just blend them. Isn't that pretty? It's just so nice. And then if you want to do light to dark, you can do that as well. You can color it in with your lighter. And come back in with your darker. Just put some color down at the bottom. Just lay down your color, and then just come back in with your light and blend it all together and blend those lines out. Isn't that pretty? Love it. So there you go. There's my 2 cents for the day, you know, for the blends. I should have colored that one. But you get the idea with these, you know, just play and have fun with them. And, you know, let me know if you've made some cards. Leave me a comment. If you haven't signed up for my YouTube channel, please do. And I'll talk to you soon.